I'm Tony Fields, co-owner of Conservatory Vintage and Vinyl with my wife.
And I'm Shogi Fields, co-owner of Conservatory Vintage and Vinyl.
I'm just hanging out. I'm just hanging out.
What has been like your musical upbringing? Either of you can start.
Well, obviously, I started. I came up as a DJ, so I started DJing in the mid '80s. And then I've been DJing ever since. But I guess towards the early '90s, I started focusing more on collecting records. And then as time went on, we sold records, sold our own records, and then sold used records. And then we were selling them online. And then as time evolved, it evolved into a store.
Wow, okay, so it began even before the brick and mortar thing. Oh, interesting.
Well, fast forward to the store, I handle the mid-century modern furniture, sourcing, doing research, providing that aesthetic for the store. But growing up, I definitely was surrounded by music. My family always had vinyl at every holiday gathering, just casually playing it in the home. So yeah, I definitely grew up around vinyl and music.
Excellent. Were you around to hear Tony DJ like back in the day a lot?
Yep, I was.
And for any of the watchers who don't know who Tony Fields is, would you mind sharing your DJ moniker with us?
My DJ name is Tone B. Nimble.
Yes, the legendary Chicago Tony Nimble. Like on your personal experience, like what do you feel like is the difference between ingesting music like from vinyl versus a streaming digital platform?
Well, for me, I feel like vinyl is a bit more specific and contained in one listening session, whereas I feel like the digital is like it's first of all, it's based on algorithms, so the sound may be the same, but the artists vary. So it's not like how an artist may put a record together for you to listen to it in a sequence for a certain vibe. That's out the door. You can get a vibe, but it's not the vibe of one artist and listening to the project the way they envisioned it.
When I'm putting vinyl on, that's my time to relax. I'm being very intentional about who I want to listen to, the vibe I want to create in my space, and having that moment of really enjoying the music myself. Even the tactical part of it, of flipping the record, looking at the label, seeing what's going to come next on the other side. That whole aspect is just an experience that I enjoy. And I'm looking for that exact feeling from it when I'm playing vinyl records versus we definitely stream music through our smart TV. And that's when I want music in the background. I choose what genre or what sound I'm looking for. And I have that there for everyone to enjoy and for us to just create this atmosphere in our home. Or if I'm listening to it on my phone and I'm traveling or in my car, then I'm trying to create it in that space. But it's open to anyone who's listening.
And so now, out of all the records that you both collected and amassed over your lifetime, are you willing to share any one or two that's like, oh man, like this record right here has, some emotional attachment. It might not be monetary. Usually the better ones don't have, it's not about the money. It's like, oh, this record takes me to here. Because there's something you can share with us?
She can go first, but yeah, for sure.
So my collection is in two parts. It was what I had as a teenager. Some of the pieces, I'm not exactly sure where the albums ended up. And then, since we've opened the store, just starting a whole new collection. So when I think back on the albums that really touched me from, whether it was my childhood or my teen years, I should probably say. Tracy Chapman's self-titled album was definitely one.
Right.
And recently we had one in the store. I always make sure the customers have first pick, and I kept saying, I should grab it.
Oh, you don't have a copy?
No, Tone ended up getting me a copy.
Oh, that's nice.
He ended up getting me a copy,
Yeah.
so. And I went in like, and I got real desperate when I found out a customer bought it. And I was like, oh, I should have gotten it. I shouldn't have gotten it because I hadn't seen it since my teen years. So Tone got that for me. And then another one that I actually bought myself, and this is one that's super affordable, is Carole King's album, the one with You Got a Friend. My mom used to play a song on that album for me whenever I had a bad day at school.
Oh, nice.
And so I was like, I have to get that album. It's something that's really inexpensive, but a lot of really great hits on that. Yeah, Tapestry, that's it. Yeah.
So that's that album.
It's
like I have to admit,
incredible.
I just discovered it about a year ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I listened to it for like 2 weeks straight, and
But you had to recognize the songs prior.
all those songs.
All
I'm like,
the
oh my God,
songs.
she wrote this, she wrote
Hits.
this,
Yeah.
she wrote this too.
Yeah.
And I felt like I just cried for 2 weeks straight listening to that album over and over. Like,
Her voice is just
Hits.
incredible. It's hits after hits after hits.
Yeah. How about you, Tom?
It's a lot from this could be a variety, but I would say main source. We did a lot of road trips in the mid '90s, early '90s, in mid '90s.
Which main source album?
Breaking Out.
Breaking Out. Okay. Right.
And I just got a lot of fond memories of driving to New York for new music seminars or going to different functions in different states and listening to that record and having debate who had the best verse on Live at the Barbecue, or whose record was better, the main source or Gangstar or Cypress Hill or Diamond D, Stunts, Blunts, and Hill. At that time there was like 4 or 5 records that we.
Yes, sir, man.
So that was a big one, and then I'm heavy into gospel records and
Spirit.
There's a record called Spirit.
Okay.
That's a collector's record. And it's like a disco record, but it's a gospel record.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like 11 minutes long.
Is the name of the group Spirit? That's interesting. Okay. How did you guys decide to open the store here in the Homewood Flossmoor area?
Well, I grew up out here, so that's that's the
There
first.
you go.
So I was obviously familiar with the area.
Mm-hmm.
We moved back out here. We have a mid-century home, and that wasn't our introduction into mid-century furniture, but that definitely sped up our interest or increased our interest in mid-century furniture.
How did you guys come up with this idea to combine it together as opposed to just being a typical record store owner?
Yeah. So really, the design of it came from our travels. Earlier on in our relationship, at some point we said we would love to own a retail store. One specific store that inspired us was Colette, which was in Paris. We had when we were in Paris years ago, when Colette was still open. It is more of it's kind of it's like a concept store, but it's like an incubator for new designers, but also it would have very rare, Nike apparel or shoes.
And they had music as well.
They had music, they had books, they had a beauty section, and it was always what the latest, most cutting edge thing was, and they sold them in limited quantities.
Gotcha.
So it was, it was like art meets fashion meets beauty all under one roof. And when you walk in, you're instantly drawn into, oh my goodness, what is this? I've never seen this before. Or look at this, oh, I never knew that Jabot was still, like created this backpack. Like I'd never seen this before. And then they say, oh, well, there are only 4. That type of
Like,
thing,
well, that's right.
So, just very cool idea to have all those things, this pretty much like lifestyle store.
Right,
Everything was
right.
in one place and it all had cool stuff,
Nice.
So we knew that, we wanted to have this place that would be like a destination where people can look for, music. And again, as Tony mentioned, we purchased a mid-century home, and moving from Bucktown out here, we had to furnish multiple rooms. And for us, there wasn't an option to go to a major department, store or a major furniture store and furnish our entire house. That just wasn't in our budget. So we started going out to fleas and going to estate sales, even going to auctions, to furnish our home, to get a certain look or to get a mid-century designer or a piece from that period that complemented our home. So, and the other thing was, I would always tell Tony when I would be traveling with him and he would go to record stores. Most record stores you go to, if you're going with someone and you're not a big collector, they're going to be in there for hours.
Yeah.
You have nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I would always say, like, I didn't have anywhere else to go. And there's a record store specifically in New York that's like, it's in Brooklyn. There was nothing else around it. So I couldn't go sit at a cafe or anything. So I said, man, if we ever open a record store, I want a place where whoever's accompanying that person, they can sit down. There's something for them to shop for. They can have a nice bathroom to use, like different things like that. So with all those things,
I took my wife on a date to a record store.
Yeah.
Like one of my first dates.
Oh wow.
Luckily, she stayed with me anyways, but she never went back to the record store.
See, now if you had brought her in as a first date, she'd be like, oh, okay,
this
I
would
can
be
go
far
back.
more interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Than High Park Records.
Okay.
Right.
Nothing but records.
Right. So now there's something else for them to do.
Beautiful.
Yep. So our address is 1042 Sterling Avenue in Flossmoor, Illinois. We're right in downtown Flossmoor, off of Flossmoor Road, across the street from Flossmoor Station, which people also call the Flossmoor Brewery. And our hours are Wednesday through Sunday. Wednesday and Thursday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the holidays. Or actually, it's 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the holidays on Fridays and Saturdays. And then every Sunday, 12 to 5. The last 2 weeks of December, we will be open 7 days a week.
Oh, okay. Excellent. All right.
So definitely come check us out.
Will do. Well, I'll be back. And as I'm always across the street there.
Yeah. And definitely follow us on social.
Yes, give me all your
Instagram
handles.
is at Conservatory Shop. And then Facebook, same thing, at Conservatory Shop. And then go to our website, which is conservatoryvintageandvinyl.com.
Thank you both very much for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate you guys very much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. All right.